We're doing brownies today, and I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I've got a little bit of a cold. But it's on the going away stage now. Let's get started, right? Okay, so first things first, we are making ultimate chocolate chip brownies. And like I mentioned before, this brownie base can be used to make loads of other flavors, which I will be explaining towards the end of the video. So we're going to start off with melting our unsalted butter and our dark chocolate together in a saucepan. So I'm going to get a scale, okay, put that down, and then I'm going to put my saucepan directly on top of my scale. I'm going to turn my scale on. We're going to start weighing in our butter first with 150 grams of unsalted butter. So I'm going to chop it into small cubes and put it directly into my saucepan. Okay, so 150 grams. Only reason I'm chopping it up into smaller pieces is just it melts faster. So just keep putting it in until you reach 150 grams and then stop. And then the next thing you want to put in with your saucepan is your dark chocolate. So we're going to use 150 grams of dark chocolate. One of these bars is 100 grams, I know that. So I'm going to put one full bar in, and then half the bar is 50 grams. So I'm going to put 1.5 bars in to make 150 grams. So just break it up again into small pieces. Your unsalted butter and your chocolate is in the saucepan. And what we're going to do now is melt this over a low heat. You put your saucepan directly onto your heat, and we're going to put it on a low heat. And I'm going to get one of these rubber spatulas, and we're just going to continuously stir this until both things melt together completely. Okay, so you don't want it to boil, but you just want both things, the butter and the chocolate, to melt together in the saucepan. And make sure you keep it on a low heat, because the chocolate will burn if you put it on high. Okay, so it's starting to melt already. So just continuously mix it so your chocolate doesn't catch the bottom of your pan. Okay, so that's it. That's all melted. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's all shiny, glossy, and all basically a liquid. And what we're going to do is we're just going to leave that to cool on the side. Okay, now we can turn on our ovens. So your ovens need to be at 160 fan. If you don't have a fan oven, you've just got a regular convection oven, then you need to put it on 180. And if you have a gas oven, it is gas mark 4. I checked today, guys. Mine is a fan oven, so I'm going to turn it on at 160. Next stage is starting on the brownie mixture. So get your mixing bowl that you're going to mix your brownie mixture in, and then straight in there you're going to crack all 3 of your eggs. Okay, try not to get shell in there. If you're worried about getting shell, you can always crack them into a separate bowl and then put them in your main mixing bowl. What you want to do is put your scale down, put your mixing bowl back on top of your scale, and we're going to add in our sugar. Okay, so it's 175 grams of soft brown sugar, and it just gives a nice caramelly flavor to the brownies. Okay, so 175 grams of that you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the whisk attachment on my stand mixer. So it'll probably be faster in my stand mixer to do this, because the whisk is so big and it incorporates a lot of air. So it might take a bit longer if you're using a normal electric hand mixer. I do not recommend doing this just by hand, like manually, because your arm's going to fall off basically, because it's just too much mixing. So what we're going to look for here is we're going to whip the eggs until they form a very frothy, they go light and frothy like a milkshake. So it's going to look like exactly like a frothy milkshake. Okay, that looks perfect. So all the sugar's dissolved into there now, and it just looks really yummy, and yeah, like a really thick milkshake, and that's what we're looking for. So we're going to weigh out our dry ingredients. I'm not going to sift them right now because I'm going to sift them into our eggs later. So the first lot of our dry ingredients is the plain flour. If you scale on with your mixing bowl on top, make sure it's on 0. Okay? So you need 85 grams of plain flour into your bowl that you're going to weigh your dry ingredients out in. 85, okay? Okay, now I'm going to put the scale back on 0 by pressing the 0 button. And we're going to weigh out the cocoa powder, into the same bowl. So you want 40 grams of cocoa powder. So just put it in slowly until you reach 40 grams. So the next thing we're weighing in there is our salt. So 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and this just helps elevate the flavour of our brownie. Okay, so 1/4 teaspoon, so not much, literally a pinch of salt basically. So 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and that's our dry ingredients weighed out. Okay, so we can put those to the side now. Now we're going to add in our melted butter and chocolate. It should be cool enough now. Guys, if yours is not cool enough yet, please don't add it until it cools down completely. So you want to add all of that in, and then you want to fold it in, okay? So the reason why we're folding now is because we spent all that time whipping all that air into the eggs, and now we don't want to lose that air, okay? So we're going to fold. So folding basically means scraping down the sides of the bowl, and then cutting through the middle, and again folding over like so. And you want to do that until the chocolate is incorporated into the eggs fully, okay? So I'll just show you what this looks like now. I folded it until it's pretty much all combined, and it looks like a thick chocolate milkshake, okay? Now we're going to add in our dry ingredients, and very important to sift these in. We do not want lumpy brownies. We don't want big flour lumps in our brownies. So that we've already weighed out all our dry ingredients into the bowl, and we're going to put our sieve on top of our bowl. And we're going to sift, we're going to sift all the dry ingredients that we weighed out into our mixture. Very, very important. Do not skip this step of sifting, guys. You really don't want flour lumps in your brownies at all. And again, fold in the flour. Now we're not going to fold it in completely because we are going to add in chocolate chips. So fold it until it's almost completely folded, then add your chocolate chips and then fold it, because we don't want to over mix this now, okay? The more we mix flour, the more rubbery it starts working the gluten in the flour, and your brownies will get rubbery, okay? So we don't want to over mix this. We're folding. We're not like mixing like this, we're folding gently so you lose that air. It's going to be a very thick batter, guys, so be aware of that. So as you can see, there's a little bit of flour left in there, but the majority of it is mixed in. So now I'm going to add in my chocolate chips, but I'm also going to save a few chocolate chips for this top to sprinkle over the top. So like you want to save like half a handful of chocolate chips to sprinkle over the top and add the rest in. So I've got 50 grams of white chocolate chips and 50 grams of milk chocolate chips. You can put whatever chocolate chips, you can put fudge pieces in there, put mini Oreos in there, whatever you felt like. You could put chocolate orange pieces in there, whatever you fancied, whatever tickled your fancies. But I like to add white chocolate chips and milk chocolate chips, so 50 grams of each. So total amount of chocolate chips or substances that you add in there should weigh 100 grams, okay? And like I said, save some to sprinkle over the top. And then just do the last few folds. Fold those in again until all your batter is completely folded and all the flour is completely folded in, okay? That's it, that's done basically. So I've got an 8-inch square tin here. For the baking paper, I like to measure it so that we've got extra around the edges, because we want to be able to lift the brownie out of the tin. Cut off how much you need. Really easy way to line a square tin like this is to scrunch up your paper. I know it sounds odd. Scrunch up your baking paper into a ball and then open it out again carefully, don't rip it. Okay, so can you see? It fits into the corners really easily now because we scrunched it up. Oh my god, this smells so good. Just use your spatula again to level it off. Make sure with a square tin you get it right into the corners as well, because sometimes the batter doesn't really get into the corners by itself, so you need to guide it along a little bit. Okay, so the handful of chocolate chips that you reserved, put them on the top just so that they looks nice and you can see what's in there. But I'm going to put it in the oven. I'm going to bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. Bismillah. So you bake it for roughly 25 minutes. Check it. If the middle's still really wobbly, put it back in for another 5 minutes. So maximum of half an hour in the oven. Do not over bake it. The more you bake it, it's just going to go hard. It's going to go cakey, and you don't want that. You want a fudgy brownie, okay? Hey guys, so this is my brownie. It's baked. from today's live bake. Just give it a wobble. Look, it's not wobbly in the middle, so mine baked for 25 minutes. If yours is still wobbly in the middle, then you need to bake it for a little bit longer, but it should look like this. It's normal for it to have some cracks on the top. Let it cool down in the tin, then take it out of the tin, and then for about half an hour in the tin, and then take it out of the tin and let it cool on a cooling rack, and then slice it up when it's completely cool. Variations on the brownies, guys. So I mentioned already putting different chocolate pieces in there, but another variation you could do is with a flavour. So if you wanted to make them chocolate orange flavour, you could also put chocolate orange chips in them, but also you could put some orange extract in with the eggs. So a teaspoon of orange extract in with the eggs, and that will give your brownies a chocolate orange flavour. If you wanted to make biscoff mixture on top, so you do your brownie mixture as normal, then you melt 100 grams of biscoff spread and pour that in dollops over the top of your brownie mixture, and then swirl it with a spoon, okay? And then when you cut, when it bakes, and then it cut lotus biscoff spread on the top of your brownie, it's delicious. If you want to do raspberry and white chocolate, you could stick some fresh raspberries in the top, or mix the raspberries into your batter, and your white chocolate chips as well. Oh my god, that's so good. So basically just use your imagination, and you can use the brownie mixture, the base of it, to do tons of different flavors, okay? Brownies are delicious, warmed up with a bit of ice cream. Oh my god, guys, they are amazing. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, for today's chocolate chip brownies. I trust and know that you will enjoy them once they are baked. I hope you enjoyed that. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bye bye.